Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to One Mic, where I watch shit so you don't have to. Today, I'm back for another episode of Fight Talk, talking about last night's UFC event, Holloway versus Kattar. Now, I haven't done a Fight Talk in a while. It's because the UFC's been off for about a month. In that time, I've been, kind of like planning how I want to incorporate Fight Talk into this YouTube channel. I did an episode when I first launched the channel where I kind of just did the whole podcast and recorded a video of me doing the podcast, and I didn't particularly like that. The duration of the entire podcast made the video a massive file size, and it was this whole thing. And I've kind of gone over that in other videos. So my plan coming back was to take these events, because the UFC has an event this past Saturday, last night, another one on Wednesday, and another one again on Saturday, and they kind of pump them out week by week. With every couple of months, they might have a Saturday off. I'm not trying to do 40, 50, 60-minute videos for each and every one. I don't think you guys are even that interested in hearing about it. So I kind of wanted to do something like I do with the other things, which is just kind of give like a 7 to 15-minute review of my thoughts of the event. So that was my plan coming in, was to kind of I'll not go over each fight, not even necessarily go over each performance that I found interesting, but kind of just say, okay, here are my thoughts on the event as a whole. Should you watch it? Should you not? And what came out of it? Anything interesting or whatever. But those plans changed dramatically by the end of last night's event. I had a plan to talk about all the interesting wins that we saw during the event. We saw Joaquin Buckley, the owner of the most hardcore knockout of 2020, come back. And, well, not come back, because he has fought since that knockout and got another impressive win. But he showed up last night, man. He got his head kicked in, man. He was moving down to duck what I think he thought was a lower kick, and the kick came up high. Well, I'm saying that backwards, but he ducked down it. I think I got it backwards. He thought the kick was going to be high and the kick was lower, so he ducked down, and the kick grazed him right across the temple, and he was out like a light, man. So it's crazy to see, the owner of the best knockout of 2020 ending up being on the receiving end of it won't be in the best knockouts of 2020 conversation, but still on the receiving end of a knockout on the UFC's premiere on ABC, which is something I haven't talked about yet. So yesterday's event was the first time that the UFC or any form of MMA has aired on ABC, which is a big deal. Those of us who might be a little bit more advanced in age can remember a time when Wide World of Sports used to be on ABC, boxing used to be on ABC. Like, there's a whole lot of history and lore with combat sports and ABC. So to have them kind of get an opportunity to showcase the UFC on that grand of a stage was a huge opportunity, and it paid off big time for Dana White. So talking about the prelims were on ESPN Plus like usual. The main card was on both ESPN Plus and ABC, giving everybody an opportunity to watch. And we come out, first 3 fights, finishes in the first round. Like, this couldn't be going any better for Dana White. So I think I'm going to pull up the results over here on my little side computer so I can kind of make sure that I don't forget anything. So we open up with Soriano getting a TKO in the first round. I actually missed that fight. I ran to the store to get my wife something. And the store, I was gone from, it couldn't have been 10 minutes maybe. The store is real close. I was in and out, and I missed that fight. And that was the first finish of the night. So I'm like, man, I sat through the whole prelims and didn't get a finish. I leave for 10 minutes and I missed the first finish of the night. But as far as the things that I potentially could have missed, that's at the bottom of the list. So Soriano gets his good win. Knockout first round. So I'm thinking okay, good start. Congratulations. This is what I'm thinking in my head while I'm at the store. Congratulations, Dana White, on getting a first round finish in the first fight on the first main card that's on ABC. So cool. Next up is Buckley. And again, I'm thinking all right, Buckley had the knockout of the year last year. He had a great finish after that. He's now on the national stage. Let's see what can happen. And like I mentioned, he caught that kick to the head. I'm like, man, 2 straight first round finishes. Third fight, Santiago Ponzinibbio. Folks been waiting for him to come back forever. He's been out for over 2 years. They showed a stat on the screen. He has I think he was, 4th or 5th in wins in the welterweight division, something like that, with 7. Matt Brown, who fought after that, led with 11. And wait, no, this wasn't wins. I think it was finishes actually. But yeah, Ponzinibbio fights. A lot of people had him winning. Li Jingliang has been pretty impressive. I feel like his last fight he lost to somebody that I felt like he would have beaten, but I can't remember. And I tried to remember during the event and I couldn't. But yeah, nice knockout from him. He caught Ponzinibbio right on the chin with a hook, and you could tell snapped his head right back and forth. He was out cold. So now we're at 3. I had like a piece of my beard in my mouth. This is embarrassing, but I'm not editing shit because that's not how we live life. You don't get to edit shit and do it over again. So I tend to not do that. You guys will notice this. I don't do that with my videos or with my podcast, because I'm kind of like, look, that's just how people fucking talk. Like if you mess up something, or if you gotta spit, or there's something in your chin or in your beard, I mean, that's just life. Like, who cares? Like, you'd be like, oh, you should have edited that out. Yeah, fuck off. But anyway, so we moved to the co-main event. It's Carlos Condit, Matt Brown. Carlos Condit had a really good performance in his last fight, and he performed really well again. This was the first non-finish of the night. And but Condit kind of dominated. I had the first round for Brown, and then I had the second and third for Condit. And then what was interesting was that at the end of the fight, they go, Bruce Buffer's announcing the results, and he goes, all judges scored it unanimously, 30-27, and both of them were like, and so was I, like, because even Carlos Condit thought Matt Brown won the first round, apparently. So yeah, everybody was kind of confused, like 30-27. But that won't be the talk of the event, because following that was Max Holloway versus Calvin Kattar, and it couldn't have gone any better for Dana White. I can't imagine being someone who has never watched MMA before or never watched combat sports, and you tune in like, oh, the UFC's on ABC, fuck it, I'll watch it. And that was the first thing you got to see, was that Max Holloway fight. My God. I mean, I'm still like buzzed over how insane that fight was. I had a headache after it from yelling so much. I watched it again, maybe like an hour or so after the event was over. Well, not an hour after the event was over, sorry. It was about an hour after I put my kids to bed, which was well after the event was over. But yeah, like I watched it again, and I tweeted this at the time, and it's now the next day, and I feel no differently. That was the greatest single performance I've ever seen. It was a masterclass, and there's probably a portion of that we can hang on Calvin Kattar, who, also, side note, what a fucking badass. Like, how do you take that much damage and he never even went down. Like, never mind that he wasn't finished. Never mind that the fight went the distance. He never even got knocked down. Like, that is like the punishment this guy took. And I'm concerned for him, honestly. Like, I hope there's no long-term damage, because like he took a beating like Homer Simpson. Like the whole concept of Homer being able to be a good boxer because he doesn't get knocked over, so he just allows his opponent to beat the shit out of him until he gets too tired. Like, that was kind of like what Calvin Kattar was looking like out there, almost like a punching bag. But he was throwing shots, he was landing shots, and I think that's what stopped Herb Dean from stopping this fight, because, man, this fight could have been stopped. This fight could have been stopped in the second. This fight could have been stopped in the fourth. This fight could have been stopped in the fifth. Like, there were multiple opportunities to say, you've taken enough damage, I'm stopping this thing. But the guy's still throwing shots. Like, he's swinging, and he's swinging hard. Like, these aren't lazy shots. He's still throwing hard and landing. So, I could see why the fight wasn't stopped, but I am concerned for Calvin Kattar's long-term health. But back to Max Holloway. Max is one of my favorite fighters in the UFC. It's probably John Jones, Israel Adesanya, and then Max. And I love fighters who I feel like their technical ability is just second to none. Like, I love Francis Ngannou, for instance, right? You get Francis Ngannou, knock your fucking head off. But Francis Ngannou is not a technical master here. Like, he's not out here boxing like Conor or like Max. But you know, I love Francis because he's exciting to watch. But it's a different type of adoration that I have for Francis than I have for John, Izzy, or Max. And so I was pumped to see my guy Max come back. You know, the first fight against Volkanovski I thought was close, but I wouldn't call it a robbery. The second one, I was pretty surprised. I scored that for Max pretty easily. So to have Max lose the second one to Volk, I thought was rough. But you know, I'm excited to see Max come back national stage on ABC. And again, I've never seen anything like this. I mean, everything was perfect. I mean, head movement, body movement, countering. His strikes were like, it was almost like it was natural. It it just flowed out of it. His hits just flowed out of his body. Like the combinations, like body, head, kick, head, knee, elbow. Like it was all so fluid. I mean, man, it was such a masterful performance. I mean, I guarantee, I implore all of you to watch that fight. I'm telling you, there's no way you will watch that and not be entertained. Like that's the kind of fight you watch and you become a fan for life. Seeing some shit like that. Like, I mean, it got so crazy in the 5th round. Max is talking shit at the announce table. Daniel Cormier is his boy. He's talking shit to DC, looking like this, throws a punch. Looking at DC, throws a punch and hits Kattar right in the fucking face, not looking at him. I ain't ever seen no shit like that, man. He's like talking shit to the announcers, shouting shit at Kattar, like, I'm the best boxer in the UFC, like taunting him while he's like hitting him in the face. Like it was insane. The crowd's going crazy. The fact that there was a crowd is another aspect of it. A couple thousand fans. The announcers are insane. They cut to, you can kind of see the announcer in the background on one camera angle. Dan Hardy is completely standing up. He's not even sitting down. I'm like stomping my feet on the ground, like, oh my God, this is insane. Like, I'm telling you guys, like, you watch this fight, you will be a fan for life. But unfortunately, you might not ever see anything like that again. But to be fair, that's how Max fights. Max was, I have some breakfast in my mouth. There we go. That's some bacon. Anyway, it's just how Max fights, man. Like Max is, I think the difference is that I think it's a combination of Max being on top of his game and Calvin Kattar possibly being a little out of his league. And that's not to say Calvin Kattar's not good. Calvin Kattar's really good. But I think like Max could have came in with the same skill set and game plan and might not have been able to execute it against a better fighter as well as he did against Calvin Kattar. But at the end of the day, I think Calvin Kattar being a little bit out of his league is like this much of why Max was so dominant, and Max being dominant, this much of it is that Max Holloway is a fucking amazing fighter. And yeah, I'm telling you guys, watch that shit. I'm still blown away. I'm gonna watch it again today, like, because I mean, it's just sheer entertainment. Like the last 2 minutes of like every round are just like mind blowing. Like, how is this happening? How is he still up? Like, look at this. I mean, you got him like, you got Max slipping punches like Anderson Silva, like Muhammad Ali. He's slipping shit. He's not even looking. Like, I'm telling you guys, this shit was crazy. So, if all the other fights were garbage, I'd still be giving this like a you gotta watch this shit kind of event. But on the strength of Max's fight alone, this is a must watch event. We already have a fight of the year contender, and this could not have gone any better for Dana White to have that strong of a main card. To have that quality in a main card. Because on paper, you can see like, okay, this could be a good fight. This could be a good fight. This could be a good fight. But at the end of the day, thinking from a business side of things, if you're Dana White and you're like, okay, I'm going to put this main card with these 5 fights on ABC, and I expect it to be serviceable. I expect it to be good. I expect Max and Calvin to put on a show. And then, the other 4 fights, I expect them to be good. I expect this to be a good event for the UFC. And then to get 3 first-round knockouts and one of the best, in my opinion, single performance of all time. He could not have asked for anything better. So, I guess congratulations to Dana White. I hear he's a piece of shit, but congratulations to him anyway. And, man, watch that shit. I'll be back Wednesday or Thursday. I said Thursday on a schedule that I posted on Facebook for the next Fight Talk, but I noticed that the event actually starts in the morning. So the prelims start at 9 Wednesday morning. The main card starts at noon. So if it's over by like 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, I can't rule out that I might be able to actually like pop a video up Wednesday for that event. So either late Wednesday or early Thursday, I'll have another Fight Talk covering the midweek event, the Neil Magny, Michael Chiesa card, and then the big one, Sunday, Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier. That's my birthday weekend. My birthday's on Friday. That fight's on Saturday. I got Friday off. I got Monday off. I'm like ready to go. So the big one's on Saturday the 23rd, and I'll be back on the 24th with a review of that card. So till then, peace.